All right. So in the previous session, basically we discussed how we can use Google OpenID to construct to actually Google OpenID for authentication service, and how can we leverage model operator to create the operator ID. But that has some limitations, right? Limitation in the sense that the name and everything is going to be same as the model operator, even though if you're using a different person, right? I mean, it's just that replaces the um, it what exactly it does is it actually replaces the username with the email, like we have selected email to create the basically user ID, but rest of the details are exactly same. What are other options that we can leverage? So that's what we are going to learn in this session. Okay. The first option is that you can get the model operator. Again, this is going to be based on the model operator only. So you can get the model operator based on basically organization, division, and unit. So I'm going to create one more model operator. Okay. You will have to make sure that you attach this model operator to the relevant organization hierarchy, which is going to be basically organization, division, and unit. So based on the application's organization, division, unit, Pega will pick the right operator. So go to the records first and open the unit rule, organization unit rule. So this is the one, B3 div unit, B3 div unit. This is our unit. And here you will have to provide the model operator. Okay. So it's now on your organization rule, all right, which is unit, basically organizational unit rule. And in this one, we will say B3 is the organization code, div. You can pass this dynamically as well. We don't have that set up here because we're not getting the organization detail from the operator, but the ultimate goal is that we get the organization detail as a scope from the Google, and that's what we leverage to get a model operator for that particular person. Anyway, we don't have that set up on the Google for our personal um, experiment, but we can hard code this URL at this point of time. So this time it should use model operator. All right. Just one thing, let me delete any existing Gmail account. No, nothing. All right. So let me log in again. All right. I was already logged in with Google in this session, so it would have let me in. And if you check the operator IDs, there is an operator ID created, which is using public 3, because in the model operator I think I left the name as it is, right? Public and all that. So let me change it to model, and let me delete this operator and try that again. All right, let's see. The new operator is now taken from the model operator. Right, but this is also fine. This is all okay. If you have a model operator and you do not want to replace the name and everything. But usually that's not how it works. We want the name and everything to be taken from the user's profile, uh, not just the model operator's name, right? That's where we have the third option to use. We will have to create the operator ourselves using a data transform. So you will have to run a data transform to create an operator. Um, Non-Pega operator, you can use a reference basically for from one of the data transform, right? So this is, for example, is this is going to create a new operator self, okay? So I'm going to save as this one, data transform, so that I do not have to write everything there. New OPR or Google operator. So all the necessary detail is being set, but to are we setting the py username? Let me set the dot py full name. Full name, not username. Now, username at the moment I'm going to use. Okay, 1 second. We have email ID, right? Okay, let me just use it as it is first, and let's see how does it. Okay, I'll have to change a few things though. The access group has to be this. The organization is going to be B3. The division is going to be div. The unit is going to be unit. License name, operator, available true, false, phone name, Arial, so desktop. This is okay. Okay, and let's use this data transform now, Google operator. Let's try to log in. Okay, what it says, invalid data transform, it's not valid. IMS unauthenticated access group. Okay, so it is not visible to an authenticated access group. This is visible, so I will have to add my access group, my rule set there. All right, so basically when this rule is going to be executed, this is in the IMS rule set, okay? This IMS rule set is not available when the Pega is doing the work without having any user setup to set up that user. So that configuration we see under system requesters. And you will see PRPC unauthenticated. Now this is Pega or PRPC. What is the name of the system? Let me check the name. Oh, I don't have admin studio. Should be Pega. So if you open this PRPC unauthenticated access group or this app requester, PRPC. Let me add that access group here. IMS public. Oh, sorry, it will not let me modify this. And this I need to save to IMS public. This would let me do this. Why it's not? Okay, let me set up the unauthenticated one using list of rule set. At the moment, I will just give it the sysadmin access. All must be specified. Yarcom. Okay, let's see. Refresh it once. Okay, I'm going to use that out of the box one. That's fine. Now, and I'm going to revert it back to application PRPC. Okay, let's try that way. How the operator is being set up. So, operator ID is deleted. This is the login URL. Not from here. Error happened. Division, org division invalid parameter. Okay, sorry. That is necessary, and this cannot be used because it doesn't have organization and access group and all that information. Pega rules engine is there. cannot update the application. I will have to set up a different application for unauthenticated access group. And if I use IMAS author, probably have to log off, log back in, and use. Okay. Well, I think we will skip this exercise in this session, guys, because I need to explain you guys something called unauthenticated service. Sorry, unauthenticated operator, which actually the sets up basically everything for us to execute. Okay, so I'll explain you the problem here. The problem is that when a requester comes up, okay, it actually tries to set up a operator there, right, and it executes rule to set up the operator. Now the default that Pega gives us is the Pega unauthenticated access group. Now the problem with the Pega unauthenticated access group is that it cannot access the rule from your application, right? So this one cannot access the. By the way, what is the name of my application? Let me check that. Let me add the admin studio. Am I changing it right place or not? This is Pega only, right? If it is Pega, then we were changing at the right place. This is the Pega application, PRPC unauthenticated. Oh, I'm really sorry. It's the browser unauthenticated, right? It's coming from a browser requester, so this has to be changed, not that. IMS author. And now, yeah, sorry. Earlier, basically, I was changing wrong requester. It's not application type, it's browser type requester where we needed to change that. Okay, fine. We did it. Now let's try to run it again. Still issues. Data admin operator ID. Google that applies to operator ID. There was one rule, but Google operator defined in the rule set. IMAS current rule set doesn't still read it. So let's see. Browser IMS author. It does hold IMS access group. Yeah. So should be fine. Yeah. Sorry, that was the previous session actually. So now basically an authenticated user could actually access application. Okay. So if you go back here and look at the list of operators. We got the operator set up properly now, okay, with proper division and everything that we set up using this data transform. So we are able to read the name and everything properly from the data. Of course, there are a lot of data that has to come and map to basically on the operator ID, but we can use the data transform to read that and write it. So that's basically, these are the two options I wanted to explain. Um, Basically, one was getting the model operator by organization hierarchy, and the second one was setting up the operator ID by um, data transform. This is where we will conclude this.